Art equipment, world-class tools, programs for every age, and free child care. You pay no joining fee in Madison and Huntsville. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Tuesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight. We're essentially going to repeat this process on Wednesday. A fair amount of sunshine, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 60s, only dropping into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. We're going to continue this stretch of nice days on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 60s, some of us making a pretty solid run at 70 degrees. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
It's championship week in college football. The SEC title game Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. Top-ranked and undefeated Georgia, a 6.5-point favorite over number 3 Alabama. The over-under 50.5. The line snaps a streak of 92 games in a row in which Alabama is the favorite. 2 titles up for grabs at UFC 269 on December 11th in Las Vegas. The challenger for the light heavyweight title, Dustin Poirier, the minus 155 favorite against the champion Charles Oliveira at plus 130, and Amanda Nunes minus 850 against Juliana Pena at plus 525 for the women's bantamweight title.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, it is time. We're off and running with another brand new live edition of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome in on this Tuesday morning. 39 degrees as you make your way into work, into school, wherever you may be headed on this Wednesday. We appreciate you for waking up with us. And there is no shortage of college football news to get to. And I mean no shortage of news, and we take you back last week. This is what Notre Dame head coach Brian Kelly had to say.
Other than retiring from your current profession, could you see yourself leaving? Other than retiring from your current profession, could you see yourself leaving Notre Dame of your own volition?
No. I mean, look, I think Mike Tomlin had the best line, right? You know, unless that fairy godmother comes by with that, $250 million check, my wife would want to take a look at it first. I'd have to run it by her.
That was last week. Fast forward to last night, and boy, oh boy, this spread faster than a California wildfire. Brian Kelly leaving Notre Dame to head to LSU. And boy, is Brian Kelly taking a beating for doing so.
Yeah, he is. There's no doubt about it. It kind of came out of nowhere yesterday that his name had come up in the search several weeks ago and was dismissed a little bit. And I think even when it was leaked yesterday that he was being targeted, I think Notre Dame and their beat writers and their boosters and the people around that program still thought that Brian Kelly was going to stay at Notre Dame and was going to be given what he needed. I know there was some facility concerns I think that he had, and as Chris Landry tweeted earlier in the day after joining us yesterday, that he has the same agent as Lincoln Riley, but it was one of those things where regardless he was going to get a pay raise. I think a lot of people thought maybe it was leverage to do that. But I think in the end, when he got the lucrative offer from LSU, and certainly the rumor out there is that it was $12 million a year to Lincoln Riley. And when you look at the resume of Brian Kelly and the resume of Lincoln Riley, Brian Kelly's more seasoned. He's done just as much. He hasn't won a playoff game either, but he's been there multiple times. Certainly he's played for a national championship, unlike Lincoln in the old BCS era when he was thrashed by Alabama. But, again, he's won a lot of games.
He's won 263 games, third most among active FBS head coaches.
Yes, he has, and he's the winningest coach in Notre Dame history. And so I think that's what LSU was looking for. They were looking for a proven head football coach. Certainly I think they've made the financial commitment. And I think Brian Kelly probably thought to himself that I've taken Notre Dame about as far as I can. And, I know there was a lot of talk about, well, are you ever going to get over the hump? He was adamant that he would. But now when you look at LSU, and since 2003 they've had 3 head coaches win national championships, and you look at the SEC and the strength of that league and the athletes you can recruit when you put together the kind of staff. And, again, he was recruiting well at Notre Dame. I think they had the 4th-ranked recruiting class this year, and he's turned out a lot of pros at Notre Dame since he's been there. I think he felt like, okay, I can take LSU further than I can Notre Dame in the end. And I think he felt like, okay, I'm still young enough to do this. This is probably going to be my last stop. He has been rumored for NFL openings before with the Giants and other organizations. But I'll say this: he's probably thankful he didn't do that. And it's
worth noting that when you recruit at Notre Dame, it's harder to recruit there are
academic restrictions.
Yes, it's a lot harder. So he has recruited at a high level in a place where it is hard to recruit. But this has got to be killing you talking a lot about Notre Dame. Anyway, that's
it is what it is.
But
and so
he's done a good job there. Now he's got to translate that though into keeping kids in Louisiana home. Doing a fantastic job of recruiting at a high end at LSU.
Now the fascinating thing is because of Luke Fickell, and he did not go to USC. He's a guy that's a Midwest guy and seems to be, covet Big Ten spots. It looked like he might go to Michigan State a couple years ago. That didn't happen. Now, is he going to Notre Dame? That's the question for me, because it looks like a perfect fit when you just take a few steps back. He's connected to the Midwest. That's what he loves. The program's already in really good shape.
That's where Brian Kelly came from.
I mean, exactly. I mean, it would be and Notre Dame's already done that. They've already gone to Cincinnati, got a coach, had a lot of success. You think that the formula would work again, but also does Luke Fickell think, after being the interim coach, that Ryan Day could head to the NFL at some point and take his overrated tail out of Ohio State, and then maybe he could get the Ohio State job that I know he covets. But again, I'm not a Ryan Day guy. I think he's overrated. I think he's soft, just like Lincoln Riley. I think they're like cousins, just with different last names. I think they're cut from the same cloth. I do think that Brian Kelly's a little more hard-nosed than both of those guys. So if you ask me, of the 3 guys, who are you taking? Are you taking Brian Kelly? Are you taking Ryan Day? Are you taking Lincoln Riley? I'm taking Brian Kelly. So I think it was a good hire for LSU, a surprising one, but another cat out of the bag there for Scott Woodward.
All right, so we mentioned Brian Kelly, 3rd on the active FBS list for head coaches among wins with his 263. The only 2 coaches that he trails, Alabama's Nick Saban and North Carolina's Mack Brown. Those are the only 2 coaches that are behind Brian Kelly. All right, let's go out to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Let's go to Mark from Huntsville first. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
Morning, Mark.
Hey, morning. Y'all were talking about Kelly. I wasn't calling in about Kelly, but how many titles has he won?
He hasn't won any, but neither of the other 2.
I thought didn't Mack win one before Alabama?
Well, Mack won one a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away on DVD. That's what he did. I mean, he's an outstanding coach, but right now his defense couldn't tackle me. So I wouldn't really talk about Mac very much.
But he's done a good job of recruiting, though, in North Carolina.
Oh, he has. He's done a good job of recruiting wherever he's at. I mean, this was a kind of a bump in the road. We'll see how he reacts.
But there were expectations.
Yeah,
around
Carolina was the top 10
team,
and they weren't even close to that. So again, Mac wasn't in the conversation. I was more talking about Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, and Brian Kelly. I think they're all outstanding coaches, but I do think two of them are slightly overrated.
I agree. Let me ask you this real quick, and I'll get off. Let someone else get on. I'm a huge Bama fan. Call the show. I hadn't got a chance to call as much lately, but in the Alabama-Auburn game, and this is what I don't like in this rivalry. And I don't like to blame officials. I know Alabama won. It's great for Alabama, but there were at least 8. I actually counted 14, but I can go with 8 that are definitive. Calls that, really on third down hurt Alabama on, profound pass interference calls not called, grabbing Alabama's jersey on number 1, on and on and on. How are the SEC officials evaluated, number 1? And 2, does Nick Saban have any say on, for example, are these jokers going to be at the game next week or this week in Atlanta?
Well, I wouldn't think they would grade high enough. You have to grade high enough to get SEC championship game type deal.
That could be a problem, though, with the SEC officiating this year.
But I would be shocked if that particular crew is the highest ranked one. I don't think that'll be the case. And, yes, you can turn them in. Nick Saban can call the SEC office. They can send them the film. They can complain. And I know Steve Shaw gets blown up every week with some of the garbage that we see on the field. And it is a hard job. But, again, they're graded every week. That particular crew was not good last week. They were terrible in that Iron Bowl, I thought. There's a lot of conversation on both sides about missed calls. I still think the majority of the missed calls went in favor of Auburn, and they had every break in the world and every chance in the world to win the game, and they played one of their best games as well, especially considering how banged up they were. Both sides were banged up, but certainly Alabama overcame the officiating, and sometimes that's what you have to do. You just have to play through it and keep going and keep pushing, and they did so. And it's kind of funny, after it was over with, I didn't expect really to see that and to hear it, but there was some complaints on the Auburn side about missed calls, especially on the final drive, supposedly. Of course, I didn't see that. I mean, I saw some screenshots and some things that look, peculiar to me that I didn't think were penalties. But, whatever side loses is going to complain, I guess. But, I mean, still, I thought overall, if you were objective, I think they let them play aggressively, and I think they gave Auburn every chance in the world to have a chance to an opportunity to win the game.
Hey, and last thing, I'm actually down here in Gulf Shores, and I was on the beach just walking like Lou Holt, watching the game on my phone, biting my nails. And when Alabama won, I let out a real loud yell that I think could be heard in Montgomery. So funny, we started doing the Rammer Jammer down here in Gulf Shores with condos and everything. And one lady hollered out, Texas A&M beat your blank. And I hollered out, yeah, but we just beat you, or something like that. It was just so much fun. I'll never forget that memory. And I think Coach Saban said it best when they asked him about this game. I thought it was interesting. He said, this is one that I'm not going to forget. I normally remember my losses. I don't remember my wins as much, but I will remember this. There was something about this game that Coach Saban, it got to him as emotional as winning a national title, and I'll hang up on that.
Well, it was a rivalry game. 2, for 3 quarters, it didn't look like you were going to win said game.
No, Auburn had dominated for the most part.
You play a 4 overtime game against your biggest rival.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it just had everything that emotional-wise when you're done, you release it, and that's why you will remember it, because everything was there for it. All right, let's go. Stay on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Jeff from the Borough there. Good morning, Jeff.
How's it going, guys? I just want to say Stoops did the same thing after he got that penalty against Tennessee. I think that night he had a little fit with the officials. He said he wasn't going to send us this. He offs them more because they don't do anything. So as far as calls and things. So of course that was the same night that Saban went nuts on that targeting call. Of course he didn't get no penalty. His Stoops got one. So we know that Saban and Kirby wouldn't get no penalty, but Stoops did. So we all know that. So let that go. That goes everything like that. But that kind of thing. But as far as Kelly going down that shoe, I guess if he wants that pressure cooker, as soon as he wins that natty, that clock starts ticking. But they've had 3 coaches win championships, but 2 of them were fired, weren't they? Miles and Ogeron got fired. They got fired after winning them. So like I say, if he wants that pressure cooker at $15 million, oh well, I guess he can get it. But I want your comments, Drew, on Mr. Cutcliffe yesterday getting fired. He's finished at Duke now, as we know, and they're looking for a football coach.
Well, they are, and I think it was a mutual kind of deal. And Coach Cutcliffe had a good run there. I think he went to 6 of their 14 bowl games in their history while he was there for the 10+ years. He's a class act. I mean, he's loyal. He never should have been fired from Ole Miss back in the day. I think that was a mistake it took Ole Miss a while to recover from. Now I think he was a good hire for Duke because he made them competitive.
Right.
He's made the job more attractive. We'll see, their pool of candidates and who they go after, and I'm kind of glad Jeff kind of jarred that because we really haven't been talking about that job, but it's open.
Do you think Duke really cares about football?
I mean, not it's a basketball school, Jeff. There's no question about that, but they're more relevant than they have been, and I think.
Well, I guess, but this is what David Cutcliffe will be known for. I coached Eli and Peyton Manning. That's what he'll be known for, darling. Is coaching them too.
Well, it's pretty good to be known for it, though. I mean, seriously.
That's pretty good. I guess that's what you want to be known for, I reckon. I mean, that's fine with me. When Ole Miss instead of Ole Miss, Old Manning, I reckon.
Jeff, come on. He's going to – I mean, he took over a Duke football program that was atrocious.
Atrocious.
And he got them to bowl games. I mean,
and won them.
It's not about winning a national championship at Duke. No. It's about competing and getting to bowl games and being successful. And what David Cutcliffe did at Duke, I mean, that is – I mean, it cannot go understated what he accomplished at Duke as a head coach.
He never won 10 games like Mark Stoops, but he's almost done just as much as Stoops has at Kentucky.
He might have, that's true, but
because they're the same school, just pretty much. Except for Kentucky does have much better facilities now, Jeff. I'll say that.
Who did more, Spurrier or Cutcliffe? Spurrier won a conference championship, and the AD told him to take the Florida job, leave. Told him to leave, Duke, and take Florida.
I will say this. That was remarkable what Coach Spurrier did, but I think Cutcliffe had a bigger impact. He stayed longer.
Well, I mean,
and he went to 6 bowl games, bro.
That's true.
6.
As far as Kelly and Ryden, Kelly's older, so I don't know if I be LSU. I'd probably get somebody younger, but that's just the way that it goes and stuff. But and I know Stoops. There's some things he wants from Barnhart. They've been about different things he wants for the football program. But like I said, I don't think Stoops is going anywhere as far as any jobs or anything like that.
I don't think so right now, Jeff. I mean, I don't know that he would if the Miami job comes open. I don't know. He would have, just like he did with Florida State, issues with their commitment level. So I don't really think he would explore that. I think Bill O'Brien is going to go to Virginia Tech. We'll talk about that during the show.
What I was going to say, when he went to Florida State, he interviewed them before they interviewed him.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and he had questions about that. I don't think he's going to get.
He never got off. Period. He was interviewing them. He was asking them about their commitment. Of course, they ain't got none, so they might as well just 5 and 7. So like I said, we'll fit the griff. They can't even do onside kick right. We'll fit the griff. So y'all hang in there, guys.
Thanks, Jeff. All right, David Cutcliffe, by the way, Drew, in 2013 went 10-4. With the Duke Blue Devils.
He did win 10.
He did win 10.
I forgot about that. So he's done absolutely everything that Mark Stoops has done.
Yeah.
Okay?
He won 9 games in 2014.
I forgot about the 10. I'm sorry, David Cutcliffe.
He won 8 games in 2015, 8 games in 2018, a while at Duke.
And let me just say this. What he did is harder because Duke does not have the facilities that Kentucky does now. And to Kentucky's credit, that's why Mark Stoops is still there, okay?
Right.
Because if they had not done so, he would have left, probably for somewhere like Florida State. But they have committed to the sport and trying to win. So there's no question about that. But David Cutcliffe, what he did at Duke was remarkable, okay?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about a stadium that's about like Vanderbilt's.
First in the Coastal in the ACC. So they won the Coastal Division in 2013.
Oh, my goodness, they won it. That's right. Kentucky's never done that.
They played in the Chick-fil-A Bowl that
and
year.
They won't ever do it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Ever. E-V-E-R. They will never play in the SEC championship game.
Yeah, you could argue that
Have a
David
good morning,
Cutcliffe,
Jeff.
there was a stretch that he was more successful than Mark Stoops has been at Kentucky. There was a stretch there of years where you could sit there and pull them out and say that Cutcliffe was more successful than Mark Stoops.
Because Georgia is Georgia. Florida is going to rebound against Billy Napier and start pounding Kentucky like they always do. So I'm telling you, the ceiling for the Wildcats is 3rd. And if Tennessee keeps getting good players, it's 4th. You see the pattern? They just keep moving down.
Oh, and all he's going to be known for is Eli and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Whatever. All right, let's get a break in because we got a big game in Atlanta on Saturday, in case you haven't heard. Alabama and Georgia SEC Championship. You can hear that game on 97.7 ESPN The Zone, by the way, 3 o'clock kickoff. Plus, the Atlanta Braves need to pay Freddie Freeman. Why haven't they paid him? Bill Shanks will explain when we return.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Just got to wreck Governors and the Parkway. This one is westbound. Looks like it's in the right turn lane. Nobody's hurt, so it should move quickly. Everything else looks good this morning. You be careful on that ride in. Do your methods to lose weight no longer work for you? 7 different hormones can make it impossible for you to lose weight. Find out with a free quiz at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
For all those upcoming get-togethers, get the Black Friday savings you can always count on from Bob Wallace Appliance on the brands you know and trust: Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, and more. All 3 locations: Huntsville, Florence, Coleman, and at BobWallaceAppliance.com.
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. Right, Madeline?
Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell.
Eating the last slice of pumpkin pie? Power move. Buying your own gifts? Power move. Switching to super fast internet from WOW with speeds up to 1 gig? Power move. Get Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month and your first month free. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers. McCurry Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, McCurry Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
Never mind fall and football being in the air. We want to taste it.
And never mind not being able to tailgate at the game. Let's create the ultimate barbecue experience in your own backyard.
You said it, Foster Brooks, and that's where Brooks & Collier comes in. Big selection of outdoor furniture.
And a big selection of grills and smokers like Traeger, Big Green Egg, Blaze, even DCS, and more.
This is the good stuff.
And Paul, we definitely got the accessories. And remember, we deliver. Visit us at 813 Meridian Street and shop online at brooksandcollier.com.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hi everybody, Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
This is Chuck Oliver. Listen to me coming up at noon today. Now, back to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
And welcome back to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. 39 degrees here in the Tennessee Valley. Talkin Ball, Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. We've talked a lot of college football talk there. Interesting talk in that first conversation. Talked a lot about Brian Kelly making the move to LSU.
Yep.
And everything. We got a lot more good college football talk. We got to talk some Auburn. We got to talk Jacksonville State. We got to talk a lot of things.
Georgia.
But we also want to talk SEC championship right now. Alabama, Georgia. I don't care who you were back in July at SEC Media Days. This is the matchup you picked. Alabama, yes. Georgia. No matter, both of them have got here in different paths, some more bumpier than others, but it is the matchup that we expected to see. It's the matchup that we want to see. It's Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, it's a top 3 matchup, really. Some of the polls have Alabama 4th, but I think everybody understands this is the marquee game of Championship Saturday at 3 o'clock Central Time, 4 Eastern, inside the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta. It'll be an honor to be there on Press Row. Our next guest will be as well, and he is the preeminent source for us as well for the Atlanta Braves. The Atlanta Braves, the world champion Atlanta Braves, as my hat says here today. And we are the home of the Atlanta Braves here in the Rocket City of Huntsville. And our next guest knows everything Braves and the Georgia Bulldogs. And he's host of the Bill Shanks Show from 3 to 7 Eastern, 2 to 6 Central on thesuperstations.com. And Bill Shanks is with us once again on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Bill, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Good morning. And why weren't we smart enough to become a coach back in the day instead of going into broadcasting? We could have made a lot of money.
Yes, we could.
Even if I'm a bad coach, I get a 4-year deal. I'm still loving life after 4 years.
Exactly. And I mean, there's no buyout in broadcasting, which really pisses me off, you know?
Well, or you could be Kevin Gosman, and he just signed for $110 million. And I know we saw him with the Braves a few years ago, and he was did a nice job. But it's amazing, even as an average major league pitcher, the money you can make. I know he was more than average last year with the Giants, but still, Major League Baseball, amazing. The Atlanta Braves, the world champions. Bill, I know you were there live for every game. We haven't spoken with you since that time. I know you were at the parade, but it's been a surreal time to be someone that's covered this team. I know you've followed it closely since the 1970s, 1978, really. But what a year for Atlanta, and what a job by Brian Snitker and the entire organization.
28 days ago, instead of a countdown, I'm doing a count up to keep me up with how many days it's been. It was a remarkable month of October, a tremendous run for a team. You know, we always talk about the fact that a team can get hot at any time and kind of go on a run toward the postseason, whether it's in the NFL, harder in the NBA. But the Hawks did it back in July when they made it all the way to the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. They kind of went on a run there. And the Braves did it in Major League Baseball, and it was a tremendous experience for all of us who have loved this team for many years to enjoy that. It was like we were presented with a gift, you know, to have that enjoyment and that joy. Brian Snitker has said several times, you know, he's been amazed at the amount of joy that it brought all these fans, and I think he's right. That's the word to use. It was joy. It was joyous to watch that unfold like it did, and it was great. It was a great experience, and no, I don't know any new news about Freddie.
That's what I was just going to ask. Braves fans want to know why. Okay, we don't have any news on Freddie, but why do we think it's taking so long, or what is a holdup in getting Freddie Freeman? Do we know that?
Well, yeah, we do. Terry McGurk, the chairman or whatever the heck his title is, the grand poobah of the Atlanta Braves, does not want to give him a 6-year. And it's that simple. And, you know, Freddie wants 6 years, and the man in charge, the quasi-owner, whatever you want to call him, is not willing to give him a 6-year. So it's not Alex Anthopoulos. It's not Brian Snitker. So if Freddie Freeman leaves the Braves, Terry McGurk is the one that should get all the blame and should have the finger pointed at him. He is the one not wanting to give the 6-year contract. It's that simple. And, you know, I would give it to him because 28 days ago the Braves won the World Series. Who cares? Give it to him. Just give it to him. But, you know, I'm almost tired of it. It's like, all right, if this isn't going to happen, move on. And, of course, tomorrow the game's going to stop anyway and be paused because the morons who run the game of baseball, which is ridiculous. Because I'm going to tell you something. I and a lot of other people love the off-season and the hot stove league about as much as you do the season. The last 48 hours have been remarkably fun to keep up with the different moves that are happening before that deadline, and they're going to stop this game right here in December where we usually have the winter meetings and all the trades and free agent signings, so they're stupid. But, yeah, that's it. It's all Terry McGurk.
Well, and Bill, I know that the Braves fans are concerned about that. Everyone wants Freeman back. We have seen him make a couple of moves. They've made a move behind the plate, and they've added a couple of arms. Your thoughts on what they've done thus far?
Well, the Pena kid is very good defensively and great in the clubhouse, which is what they want. Travis d'Arnaud, you know, what a great job. Don't underestimate the job that Travis d'Arnaud did in October now. He was a critical piece of that puzzle to do what he did and to hold strong, play every game, every inning. He was remarkable, but he can't hold up. Not many catchers can hold up in today's game, unfortunately, and go long term. They just wear down. So to get them through, 6 months plus, they've got to have somebody else. And Pena is not a very good hitter, but he can catch, and that's the important thing for this team, to have someone who can really be dependable behind the plate with the pitchers. I mean, heck, nobody can throw anybody out anymore, unfortunately. Pena can. He was pretty good in his role with the Brewers. But so that was good. They are bringing back Darren O'Day on a minor league contract. We'll see if he's healthy. He had another hamstring issue last year. When he's healthy, he's really good. And so we'll see about him. And then they signed Kirby Yates last night to a contract. And Kirby's coming off Tommy John surgery, so he probably won't be ready until sometime in mid-season. But he was great before he got hurt. He was outstanding, one of the best relievers of the game. And that could be a great addition for this team in the second half, July, August, or something like that. It could be really important for him. So they're still trying to bring Mark Melanson back. They'd like to do that. I don't know if it'll happen today or not. That's a possibility. They're still talking to several other relievers. They want to really shore that bullpen up. They still have interest in some starting pitchers that are out there. I'm thinking it may be more of a trade scenario than free agent, but still they've had some interest in some of those guys, and they know Ozuna's coming back now, so that's not a surprise. I mean, he was ready to go in July, and they pretty much made him sit out. So that was not a surprise what they announced yesterday, that he basically served a 20-game suspension retroactive back during the year, and he'll be ready to go on opening day.
What's the feeling around that of Marcell Ozuna? No matter, I mean, you kind of read things, and there's some people that have mixed reviews on whether or not he should be back and back with Atlanta. What's your feelings on that?
Well, I want to be totally honest with you. He's loved in that clubhouse, and he is a very good teammate. And again, I'm going to be very honest, okay? And if I offend somebody, I don't really care. I mean, you're in Huntsville. I'm from South Georgia. I don't think I'm going to offend anybody. And if somebody who's a liberal from New York's listening to this, piss off. But anyway, these two people, from everything I've heard, guys, are two volatile, loud Latinos who are kind of the crazy couple at the end of the trailer park. And they scream and holler at each other. And, it's not good, and it's not an excuse for what's happened in the past and what Marcell Ozuna allegedly did. But he's paying his price, and he with a legal system, and he's getting back on track. So, I mean, they love him in that clubhouse, and they want him back, and they're not going to trade him. The fans, I understand the fans not wanting someone that was accused of what he was accused of, and probably did, to be back on the team. But, again, you have to kind of consider the situation and say, well, if the team wants him back, you got to accept that and move on.
Well, you certainly do. And then the Braves did pick up Jay Jackson from the San Francisco Giants, so they are continuing, as you said, Bill, to try to fortify their bullpen. And that's going to be the key. The Braves have always been all about pitching. Hopefully they can get this Freddie Freeman deal done. I completely agree with you. He's earned a 6-year opportunity. He would be 38 years old at that point. I know they may be a little worried about the Albert Pujols type situation, but again, I think when you look at a Freddie Freeman, and with the way the rules may change, Bill, you talked about the labor situation, but in your mind, if they finally get this done, and hopefully it's not a long work stoppage, is the DH going to be universal?
Should be, and I think it will. I mean, it's a shame they won't announce that at least to allow the general managers in the National League to have their ability to truly go out there and create their roster as they should for 2022. But I think there's enough of a belief in that to move forward. I mean, look, the Braves have Ozuna coming back. They have Acuna coming back, if not opening day in early May or late April. They have the arbitration rights to Adam Duvall, and they're probably going to bring him back for that, or maybe a 2-year contract that they can work out. So, I mean, I think they want to still bring back Jorge Soler. Why wouldn't you? My God. So, I mean, I think they're going on the assumption that they are going to need 4 players to fill the DH plus outfield roles right now.
Well, while baseball is a big topic with everything going on there, so is the SEC championship game. Bill, we finally get Alabama and Georgia, probably one of the most talked about games before it was even official that it would be Alabama and Georgia.
Well, we do, and look, I think Georgia's set up very well for this. They obviously are undefeated. They have not faced a team like Alabama all year. Even with Alabama's issues at running back with Robinson and the lack of depth there, and the offensive line issues that they have. This is still the most talented roster that Georgia has faced. I mean, I know I'm not very objective here, or I could be called not being very objective, but I think this is Georgia's year, just like 2 years ago was LSU's year. They are set up so well right now. I mean, look, they have their health issues as well. They're not injury free themselves, but their depth. I mean, they lost a couple of 5-star players a couple of weeks ago. Adam Anderson to the rape charges, and he was that same week was getting talked about as a top 5 draft pick in next April's draft, and then Jamari Sawyer, the offensive lineman left tackle, to an injury. And they replaced those two with 5-star players, and that hasn't happened before. But you know who that sounds like, Drew? It sounds like Alabama. What happens to Alabama if you have an injury or something happen where they're replaced immediately with 5-star players? That's the depth of this roster right now. That's what's going on. They're extremely talented, extremely deep. They're dominating people. And, you know, I think this is set up well for Georgia. I do. I think this is their year, and I think they have a tremendous advantage over Alabama in certain positions. The pass rush obviously is going to be important for this week because of what we saw Auburn do last week against Alabama. And, I mean, you know, if Auburn did that, what's Georgia going to do?
Yeah, that's my question as well. I mean, plus I wouldn't be surprised if Kirby was even more aggressive than usual. I mean, he's usually a guy that allows his front seven to rush the passer. He's confident enough in his secondary that he drops 7 or 8 at times and tries to cover and thinks they can get home. But with the way Alabama struggled to pick up the blitz, and he does blitz some, I wouldn't be surprised if they were even more aggressive, he and Dan Lanning. So, and they are an outstanding football team. You know, as I said on your show yesterday, I truly believe that their special teams is underrated. The punt blocking situation, they did that against Arkansas, and then the punting and the place kicking. That a lot of times that gets lost on folks, but Georgia's been very solid in that area as well. And then, you know, I know they don't have a 1,000-yard rusher like Alabama, but I really like the 1-2 punch of Zeus and then James Cook. I think Cook is a guy that's so underrated in what he does. He kind of reminds me of what Kenyon Drake did for Alabama back in 2015, Bill.
Well, you know, for a couple of years, Drew, we have all said, when is someone going to find a niche for James Cook?
Right.
And it took Todd Monken a couple of years to kind of find that. And I think they're utilizing his strengths of being able to catch the ball out of the backfield tremendously. He's got the running ability even up the middle and through the tackles, and he's got tremendous skill. So yeah, that's a really good combo there with Zeus and Cook. They I don't know about Kendall Milton's status really, but they also have Kenny McIntosh. But it's the receivers. I look, Georgia's defense is going to get the publicity, and they should. But I want to tell you, Georgia's receivers, the quantity of these targets for Stetson Bennett is impressive. I mean, first of all, you got 3 tight ends, Brock Bowers, Darnell Washington, and also John Fitzpatrick, who, if those other 2 aren't there, he'd be a really good tight end. Those are 3 legitimate threats out there, particularly Bowers, who's probably the best tight end in America as a true freshman. But the receivers, I mean, George Pickens is back. You've got Jermaine Burton. Karis Jackson was, nicked up a little bit. I don't know about his status for this weekend. You've got A.D. Mitchell, a true freshman who's doing very well. Dominique Blaylock is back and is an option for them. I mean, they are 8 or 9, 10 deep with options, and then you include Cook out of the backfield. I mean, that's a tremendous asset for Stetson Bennett to go from a marginal quarterback to a pretty good one. You know, I mean, a lot of quarterbacks who aren't necessarily the greatest Peyton Manning types can look really good if you've got a great receiving crew, and this team does. I mean, I'm telling you, Georgia wins the national championship. They win it all this year. The defense is going to get a lot of credit, as they should, but these receivers and the offensive weapons this team has, and we'll see if they can show that in these next 3 games if they go that far, of how good this offense can be, because I just don't know if anybody can match up quantity-wise with the quality of receivers they have.
Well, they do have a lot of good personnel. There's no doubt about it. In your mind, certainly Alabama has been the one team that seems to have had Kirby Smart's number, but this is an Alabama team that's one-dimensional. This is an Alabama team that's banged up. How do you see the game going, Bill?
Well, look, I just think it sets up very well for Georgia, and I have tremendous respect for Alabama. You know I do. Not for Auburn, but I like to throw that in there just for the heck of it. But because I love to make fun of Auburn. It just really pisses their fan base off. But I have tremendous respect for Alabama, tremendous respect for Nick Saban. He showed again on Saturday against Auburn why he is unbelievable and the best, and you can never count them out. Is it going to floor me if Georgia loses to Alabama? No, because Nick Saban's a coach. Hell, it's not Mike DeBose. It's Nick Saban. He's great. He's the best of all time. But I think Georgia is the better team. And, you have to look at that going in there. Well, who is the better team? I mean, Drew, you've even said it.
Yes, sir.
And I think Georgia's a 2-touchdown winner on Saturday. I do. And I just think they're that much better than everybody else. I think it's somewhere 31-17, 34-20, somewhere in that area. Maybe a little closer, maybe 7 points, maybe 10 points. But I think Georgia has the ability to be that much better on Saturday. I really believe that.
Well, great stuff from Bill Shanks. You can hear him later this afternoon. The Bill Shanks Show on the superstations.com, talking, of course, this Georgia-Alabama SEC championship game, the playoff berth looming because Georgia's in no matter what, and then, of course, the Atlanta Braves could have some breaking information, and as Bill has mentioned already, the labor situation, unfortunately, in Major League Baseball. Bill, we always appreciate the time. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day, sir.
By the way, I got $10 at Mike Bobo's in the Butts Beer building right now in Athens trying to help get ready for Alabama. What do you think?
Wouldn't be surprised at all. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, Bill Shanks with us. Some good stuff there. Some enlightening stuff with Bill Shanks. Let's get a break in when we come back. Speaking of Mike Bobo.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll talk Mike Bobo and Bo Nix when we return.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food, from delicious starters to 50-style diner food and meat and 3 meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. And you can enjoy $50 worth of delicious Bubby's Diner food for half price with this week's Zone Deal. On sale now online at 977ESPN.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
Happy holidays don't just happen on their own. You make them happen with a little help from new appliances at the Home Depot. Because warm wishes won't roast that turkey. You'll want a new convection oven for that. An air fryer will help make the season light and delicious. And while you're at it, consider a new LG or Samsung fridge that's big enough to hold all kinds of Christmas cheer. Make the holidays yours with the season's best savings on top appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Touchdown, Leonard Fournette.
Witness tomorrow's NFL stars this December at the TransPerfect Music City Bowl.
Eli back to throw, avoids pressure, steps up, has a man wide open, Armstrong in the end zone, touchdown.
Don't miss a second as 2 of college football's most exciting programs from the SEC and Big Ten go head-to-head on Thursday, December 30th at 2 p.m. inside Nissan Stadium. For more information on this year's game, including ticket availability, visit MusicCityBowl.com to get your tickets today.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in a Kia. Go Bulldogs!
Skydirect westbound on 72 near Epworth. I think there's 3 vehicles involved. One of them may be down the hill closer to Moore's Mill. Be careful coming through that area. Maston Lake and Pulaski Pike sounds like a very minor accident. Should move out of the way pretty quick. Dr. Sandman has the easy-to-use, easy-to-clean Somnodent oral device. Insurance approved for snoring and for sleep apnea. 350-CARE or RandallSandlin.com. Captain Nick and the 72 and Jeff Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And thanks to Bill Shanks for joining us in that last segment. And we ended that by kind of jokingly talking about Mike Bobo.
Yeah, the segue there.
Being into the Georgia room there because, well, you might wonder, well, how can Mike Bobo be at Auburn and then be at Georgia? Well, he's not at Auburn anymore. Depends on which report you wanted to read yesterday. There was a couple that said Mike Bobo departed Auburn. There was another one that said Mike Bobo was let go from Auburn. But anyway, the result is still the same. Mike Bobo out as Auburn's offensive coordinator after just one season with Brian Harsin.
Yeah, and he finished up the South Carolina tenure of Will Muschamp as well as OC there. So this will be, if he makes another move, 3 jobs in 3 years. But certainly he was a long-time OC under Mark Richt for Georgia, played at Georgia. Their offense this year at Auburn was pedestrian, but I don't think that was all his fault. I mean, certainly I don't think the wide receiver talent was what it needed to be. The offensive line wasn't what it needed to be. I think the running back room was pretty good. But other than that, and the tight ends, I think, did a nice job. But, again, it's probably a situation of Brian Harsin and his staff. You're trying to keep your current players and trying to put them in a position to be successful. May think they need to tweak their approach a little bit to maybe better fit Bo Nix and what he wants to do. I know he said he's exploring all options in the transfer portal, but I'm just going to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's the big news that came out yesterday.
Well, if you're Auburn, you've got to find a way to keep Bo Nix. First of all, he's an Auburn legacy. Second of all, he's a good player. And I don't think TJ Finley's ready to be the starting quarterback at Auburn. And I think he probably still needs some seasoning and development. Bo Nix has a ton of experience. He's a guy I still think, considering the circumstances, had a really good year this year. And so if you've got him and Tank Bigsby to build around, that's a good start. But you've got to, of course, fortify the offensive line, and you've got to fortify the wide receiver core. And both of those guys, I'm talking about Tank and Bo, are probably waiting to see what's happening there and see what's going on. And so probably Brian Harsin is thinking that they've got to tweak some things. He already made a change in midseason at wide receivers coach. Now he's doing so at offensive coordinator.
And there was supposedly another move coming along the offensive side of the ball as well. They said, expect another coaching change along the offensive side of the ball.
Well, to me, that would be a Will Friend at offensive line coach. They would probably – because he and Bobo were kind of a package deal. They were together at Colorado State when Bobo was the head coach there.
Right.
They were together at South Carolina. So I would not be surprised at all if that happened. So
Brian Harsin brought in, though, Mike Bobo because of his SEC experience, because
Right.
he had a lot of SEC experience. Derek Mason has that on the defensive side of the ball. Brian Harsin didn't have any SEC experience. So now if you're Brian Harsin, you have a year of SEC experience, not a ton. It's not making you an SEC veteran by any stretch. But you go out now and find somebody that's more for you, someone that you want a style in, and not necessarily worried about SEC experience where you go in and fit someone that fits your style purely.
Well, I've always said this. Harsin's, done what he wanted to do. He doesn't let others dictate his plan, and I don't think he's going to in this situation either. I think he will hire someone. If they have SEC experience, great, but I think he's going to hire someone he's comfortable with.
There.
I mean, the thing about it is that you have to run the program the way you see fit, and you have to, go get your guys. And I think in many cases and situations, the first year is always a year to take a look at your roster, especially after the season concludes. Okay, where do I think the deficiencies are? Where am I not comfortable? And then you kind of you go ahead and tweak things. And as we saw with Nick Saban, his staff has never come back intact. And if you were following the coaching carousel yesterday, it sure as hell don't look like it's going to come back intact again at some point in time. So I know now I don't think any coaches – let me just preface this, because the Bill O'Brien rumors are out there to Virginia Tech, and I think there's something to that. We'll see if it comes to fruition in the coming days. But he's not going to leave even if that happened before the SEC championship game. That's crazy. And if Alabama made the college football playoff, for example, Scott, he would stay through through the playoff, no question about it. Now, if Alabama doesn't beat Georgia and they end up in the Sugar Bowl, and I think you mentioned that yesterday, potentially with Baylor, then you could see Bill O'Brien, if he gets that Virginia Tech job, leave, probably not coach the bowl game, and someone else take over the play calling duties. Would it be a new OC? Who knows? Potentially. Now, I had a listener of ours, great guy. He texted me yesterday because he hears rumors, so he sends them to me. He's like, is Bill O'Brien going to leave tomorrow and then they're going to name a new OC? I've heard that. I was like, no, that's absolutely not correct. Okay, the first thing you're not going to do is you're not going to do what Alabama had to do in the national championship game in 2016, and you're not going to have an offensive coordinator come in and spend a week with the squad
Steve Sarkisian.
and have to go face the Georgia Bulldogs and have never called a play for Alabama all year. That doesn't work. So, again, we'll see what happens with Bill O'Brien. I was hoping that he would be at Alabama for 2 years before he got his opportunity, but if he thinks Virginia Tech is somewhere that he can win and they're going to give him the resources, then I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being a fit for him.
All right, coming up in hour or two, we'll talk more about this Bill O'Brien situation to Virginia Tech, delve into that a little bit more. A couple questions to take out of that. Jacksonville State has their man. We'll talk about that.
Breaking
and when
news
you're going to be
when we
able to
get
hear
back.
that. What was that?
We got some breaking news when we get back.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. We have got college football news all over the place, folks. All over the place. We'll talk about it when we return.
Chapman Commercial Realty, your source for Alabama commercial real estate. Chapman Commercial Realty has the experience and expertise you're looking for when making commercial real estate decisions. If it's office space, retail space, investment property, or project development, Chapman Commercial Realty is your answer. Call Bill Chapman today at 256-656-8413. That's 256-656-8413. Or find them online at chapmancommercialrealty.com.
Tom Luganbill here for Woody Anderson Ford. When I was in the Tennessee Valley, one of the things that impressed me the most was the quality of the people. people like Bobby White and his team at Woody Anderson Ford. And now you can experience the tremendous new service lanes and showroom at Woody Anderson Ford, at Jordan and Sparkman, or just stop by for breakfast or lunch at Henry's Mustang Cafe. And in Madison, visit Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, just south of 72. Like a great college football tradition, always there, Woody Anderson Ford.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of problems coming in on 72 and 565. Got one right on top of Chapman Mountain. Got another one up near Oakwood. Got fire units on the scene in the right lane up near Oakwood. Got a wreck in Decatur, Beltline, and Old Moulton. It's coming in as a no injury. Maston Lake and Pulaski Pikes being reported as a no injury. From routine care to heart failure, Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialists have the expertise to care for all matters of the heart. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A beautiful Tuesday across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s, dropping into the upper 30s, lower 40s as we head into the overnight. We're essentially going to repeat this process on Wednesday. A fair amount of sunshine, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 60s, only dropping into the mid 40s as we head into the overnight. We're going to continue this stretch of nice days on Thursday. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures hanging out in the mid and upper 60s, some of us making a pretty solid run at 70 degrees. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Heads up, sports bettors. Right now you can try VSiN All Access free for 30 days with no credit card required. Visit vsin.com/free month to sign up now.
2 titles up for grabs at UFC 269 on December 11th in Las Vegas. The challenger for the light heavyweight title, Dustin Poirier, the minus 155 favorite against the champion Charles Oliveira at plus 130, and Amanda Nunes minus 850 against Juliana Pena at plus 525 for the women's bantamweight title. It's championship week in college football. The SEC title game Saturday afternoon in Atlanta. Top-ranked and undefeated Georgia, a 6.5-point favorite over number 3 Alabama. The over-under 50.5. The line snaps a streak of 92 games in a row in which Alabama is the favorite.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And just like that, it is hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And when we ended hour 1, we were talking about Mike Bobo being out as Auburn offensive coordinator. And the question was arising, would Alabama need a new offensive coordinator going into next season? And yesterday afternoon, you could have been lukewarm on that feeling. Yes, no, maybe leaning a little bit towards yes, with no still coming on there a little bit. This morning, as we started the day, as we started the show, you probably could have been leaning towards yes a little bit. Yes, maybe. But now, since we took our break, in the world of college football coaching searches, that now has flipped like a scale to no.
Yeah, it has. And
as of right now.
You know, and when, of course, we had Chris Landry on yesterday, LandryFootball.com. What I mentioned was, he monitors these situations, extremely closely, as does Matt Zenitz, who formerly of AL.com, now of On3Sports.com. Matt, outstanding reporter, one of the best there is in the business. And then and Pete Thamel as well for Yahoo. All these guys have it now. Brent Pry from Penn State, the defensive coordinator, will be the new head football coach at Virginia Tech. Chris Landry also adding this caveat that Bill O'Brien was definitely in the mix and could have easily been the head football coach of the Hokies. But, I don't think that Virginia Tech, when they gauged the situation, liked monetarily where it was going to take them. In other words, the salary demands that it would have taken to hire Bill O'Brien. And so it looks like that wasn't going to be a fit for what they were willing to spend, Scott, because Virginia Tech, they're a very, very solid program, but this is not LSU. This is not Notre Dame. They're not going to offer a head football coach $9, $10, $11, $12 million per year. So Bill O'Brien right now is going to be staying with Alabama. We'll see if he's in the mix at Notre Dame. I doubt that. I still think that that's probably Luke Fickell's job to turn down or someone of that ilk. But still, we'll see. If Bill O'Brien beats Georgia Saturday, that could really open some eyes. So, again, we'll see.
But does Bill O'Brien, though, obviously he put his name in the Virginia Tech search because otherwise his representation,
yeah.
Obviously he was at Penn State, a head coach. Mm-hmm. But do you see him going back to college first or NFL first if there is an opening, or is his name just going to be floated around constantly because of his past?
Well, certainly his experience in the NFL, he did win multiple division titles with the Houston Texans, so he could easily end up in conversations in the National Football League, no question about it. And working for Nick Saban gives you an opportunity and an avenue to be in the mix for jobs in both leagues. Right. And so I think he's going to be strategic in the way he pursues things. I thought that it would be a fit at Virginia Tech, but obviously it comes down to money and how much you're willing to spend. In this situation, I think Bill O'Brien may have been a little too expensive, as Chris Landry said. So, and I think Bill O'Brien's done a nice job at Alabama.
I was going to ask you that. He's been a lightning rod for criticism.
It's really
from
the easiest
fans.
thing you can do is criticize play calling. But again, as I've said, if you struggle up front, it's hard to call plays. And Alabama is not a dominant front. They still average nearly 500 yards and 40-plus points per game, okay, in the SEC. And they're still 11-1. And if kids executed and caught passes, they would be 12-0. And nobody would be complaining that much about play calling. There would still be some consternation with it, but I guarantee you, if you go back over the years, every offensive coordinator that Nick Saban has ever had has been questioned by fans. It doesn't matter who it is. Major Applewhite was dismissed after a year. Hell, he came back last year as an analyst, okay? And then Jim McElwain was there for 4 years. And he did a nice job. And then Doug Nussmeier for 2 years. And then Lane Kiffin. And I know Lane Kiffin was questioned. Everybody acts like he's a genius now, but I guarantee you there was a lot of bitching about his play calling when he was at Alabama.
Oh, there was, because Alabama fans felt
I sure did. And I know others did as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
There was, come on.
They're saying that with Bill O'Brien right now, especially on Saturday.
There was T-shirts made, run the ball lane. Okay?
Yeah.
So everybody has complained about offensive coordinators, man. It's easy to do, but the biggest problem with Alabama has been a personnel issue. And of course, you talk about their recruiting rankings, but even if you recruit at the highest level, you can miss. And so Alabama doesn't have as good an offensive line as they've had. They've had to scheme around that. And certainly there's play calls you can question, but at the end of the day, when you have a 1,000-yard rusher, 2,000-yard receivers, and nearly a 4,000-yard, 40-touchdown passer that's put up numbers similar than Tua Tagovailoa, you had to do a pretty solid job.
Yeah.
You don't suck, okay?
All right, let's go to the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. You say Johnny's on the line with us this morning. All right, good morning, Johnny.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, Johnny.
I feel like that Bill O'Brien has done a solid job, but at the same time, you're going right a lot off your play call, and you've got an All-American 363-pound tackle on the left side, and I rarely see us go left. And the Auburn stuffed us on the right side all night, and we didn't go left hardly any. And fourth down, we're not going left. And so, Alabama fans are going to question a guy. And we're going to question a guy that seems like he's got the NFL game in mind and not the college game in mind. In the NFL, you'd probably do some of the play calls he's done, but I mean, I think Alabama fans at some point would like to see a little ball in the belly, pull it out, throw to the tight end. I mean, I just don't. I'm not going to.
Tight ends could catch half the time, then maybe he would do that. But they've needed a sack lately a lot. Even though they did make a couple of clutch plays on Saturday.
The ball that mattered.
Yeah, they did. But
Billingsley caught the ball that mattered, and yeah, Billings had dropped, and Latu's had dropped, and fumbled.
Yep.
I get that, and he didn't make the drops or the fumbles happen. And you're right. We catch the balls that should have been caught against A&M, and we don't lose to A&M.
Nope.
There are a lot of things we could have done different. We don't lose to A&M, but we're in the spot where we are, and he has gotten us through but he just doesn't seem to have. I mean, and I get it. The offensive line is a problem, especially the right side. But I'm also I don't understand why we don't go left more often when Evan Neal's sitting there.
Well,
so
it may be the way the defense
my
is lining up, man. You never know. That's a coaching situation, and Nick Saban is the guy that would ultimately can veto any of it. But again, I just think overall, when you look at what Alabama lost from a personnel perspective, they don't have, even with the 2,000-yard receivers, they don't have the wide receiver explosiveness they had last year. Jamison Williams is really the only guy. They've had issues with drops with the tight ends. You've had issues with injuries along that offensive line, and that doesn't help continuity because they've had injuries at center, they've had injuries at left guard, they've had injuries at right guard, and then underperformance at right tackle, and then Evan Neal. And Neal has been good, really good at left tackle, but he's a better right tackle, I'm just telling you. But that's just where the pieces fit and what you have. So, again, I think when you take in the deficiencies, and even Alabama, as talented a roster as they have deficiencies, I think that Bill O'Brien's done a solid job. Has it been perfect? No. But I think they've done a really nice job of putting this offense in position to be productive. It hasn't been, without bumps in the road. But I still think when you look at this offense, it's been good. And I'm fascinated to see what kind of plan they come up for the Georgia Steel Curtain, the greatest of all time, and see if they can move the ball against a team that, everybody's already crowned.
Well, you can go ahead and crown the dudes that wear from Georgia, but I think they better wear black because I think they're going to be in for a fight that they haven't had all year.
Well, I do agree with that.
Underdogs. I mean, you get to, I mean, it's almost like playing with house money when you make Nick Saban's team an underdog, and that's how I feel about it.
Well, Johnny, thanks for the call, man.
Thank you.
That's some good stuff there. 256-576-4977. Alabama fans, we're just kind of grading Bill O'Brien's performance up to this point now that we know that he is not taking the Virginia Tech head coaching position. So if you want to get in, 256-576-4977. Feel free to do so. And, Drew, you look at the schedules, and I get it. Georgia has been dominant.
Yes.
They have, no doubt. I'm not taking anything away from that. But is it hard to be dominant against a Florida team that at this point threw everything into the ocean and didn't give a damn? A Vanderbilt team who was clearly overmatched.
They went winless in the league.
Winless in the league. A South Carolina team that was good, but not great. Auburn made them look even better than they were. You played granted, Tennessee was okay, but Tennessee didn't have the weapons to compete with Georgia. You look at Arkansas. Arkansas was, it's an 11 o'clock game. Georgia was just riding high that day. Arkansas couldn't get out of their way in the first quarter. I mean, you could look at it that Georgia played really good, but played good against teams that they should dominate. Clemson wasn't great. Georgia took advantage, in my mind, of an easy SEC West schedule and dominated a lot of that. Dominated a lot of that.
Yeah, the SEC East, I agree with you, was down. No doubt about it. Kentucky was a solid team. May win 10 games. Everybody else was toilet.
Right.
We've talked about that. They weren't very good. Georgia was still significantly better than Kentucky. Now, to Georgia's credit, they took it out on all of them. But you're right, except for the first game, which I think was 10-3. They really weren't tested throughout the entire season. So
the SEC West had much better quarterbacks this year.
And much better teams.
And much better teams.
Much more depth.
Yes.
So we will see. And, again, you're right, but they did dominate Arkansas. But they got Arkansas early, I think, before Arkansas got better. So that's going to be the fascinating part of this matchup. By the way, speaking of the West and speaking of money, Brett McMurphy, who's also been on this show from the Action Sports Network, is reporting the contract for the one Brian Kelly. The LSU saved a little cash here, but it's still significant. A 10-year, $95 million contract for Mr. Brian Kelly to hopefully finally win a championship.
Got more on Brian Kelly, and I'll do that in the headlines. But let's get to Jake. I believe it's Jake. Is that right? Hank on the Neighbors
Hank
Wealth
is on the
Management
Neighbors
Hotline.
Wealth. What's
Good
up,
morning, Hank?
Not Jake, Hank. What's up, man?
We got you, Hank.
Hey, man, we got you.
I'm going to pull over here real quick. I just got one quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
This Winston with the targeting, does he have to sit out at all?
No, he does not have to sit.
No. Jamison Williams is good. He had to sit out the rest of the game.
First half.
Yeah,
the second half.
The second half of the game, because he was in the first half. So he's good to go the entire game against Georgia. Hopefully we'll use better judgment, and hopefully they won't have Mo, Larry, and Curley out there that can actually call a game. And but, again, his call was legit. But hopefully when they grab his jersey this time or tackle him or whatever before the ball gets there, the idiot patrol will make the call.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks. Let's get to Brandon real fast. Good morning, Brandon.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning, Brandon.
I am interested to see if Bill and Doug stay. That after National Signing Day, when the whole real free agency of college football is going to kick up, when you're really going to see people go in the portal. I'm interested to see what Doug brings in at offensive line. I'm interested to see what he recruits and if they go portal or if they're going to look more to recruit, because I think there's going to be some big guys out there.
Well, they did add Landon Dickerson a few years ago, which was outstanding, probably the best portal addition they've ever had. And I'm not disrespecting Jamison Williams and the unbelievable year he's had, but Landon Dickerson's impact was tremendous. Certainly they could maybe add a piece, but they're looking to assign one more, I think, high school prospect. They've already got some outstanding commitments in this class, and they've got guys like T.J. Ferguson, Tommy Brockermeyer, J.C. Latham that are going to continue to develop in the offseason. But if they found a piece like an offensive tackle, I'm sure that they would certainly kick the tires there and think about it seriously. There is a guy from your backyard, Brandon, that I think you should watch very closely. He went into the portal yesterday. He was recruited by Alabama until the very end, and then they decided to go in a different direction. But Jahmyr Gibbs from Georgia Tech, who on some very bad football teams the last 2 years has put up 1,200 rushing yards and nearly 800 receiving yards. There's some significant interest there from his side in Alabama, and I think Alabama would be very interested once at least the SEC championship game has wrapped up, because then they can take a closer look at that, because there will be a break. But I think when you look at Alabama's running back room, Brandon, and you know very well, it's extremely banged up right now. You got Jace McClellan, Roydell Williams coming back from knee surgeries. We know Trey Sanders is still recovering from the car accident. We also know there's another knee issue with Kamar Wheaton. So they've had a lot of injuries at the running back position. Brian Robinson will move on to the NFL. So I would not be surprised if they added a running back in the portal, and I would watch Jahmyr Gibbs of Georgia Tech very closely.
Well, I wouldn't just watch him. I would also watch Jemias Griffin, that almost ran for 3,000 yards at Rome High School. I don't think he's very happy there either, which leads me to the next question.
At Georgia Tech, you're saying, before you finish that, he's also at Tech, correct?
He's also at Tech, and he is a heck of a running back, and he's an even better person. I can testify to watching him just run bigger than life. He smashed a lot of people, and I'm surprised. I guess with Jahmyr Gibbs there, he's going to have to wait his turn. But if Gibbs wasn't there, he would definitely be the starting back. But with Zach Evans possibly going into the portal and Jahmyr Gibbs, if you had to pick between the two, who would you rather have and why?
Who's the two choices?
He's talking about the two running backs at Georgia Tech.
Okay.
I would pick Jahmyr Gibbs because he has more experience. I think both of them are good players. But Gibbs, he's also shown the ability to catch the ball. We just talked about 800 receiving yards. He's got 1,200 rushing. He can block. He's a good all-around player. There's no doubt about it. Probably would have put up better numbers with a better supporting cast. And I think and I remember being very impressed with his tape when he came out of high school, and I thought really – and he was considered the kind of the bell cow signee of the Jeff Collins era. It's been a struggle for 3 years in a row for Jeff Collins, Scott, as they've made the transition from the option offense, and that era of football for Georgia Tech. But again, I think overall, Brandon, I think there's no question that I think Alabama is going to be active in the portal. And to me, Jahmyr Gibbs, he checks a lot of boxes. And I know he was banged up. I don't think he played much against Georgia on Saturday, but I still think he's a young man that Alabama, and especially because just like Jamison Williams, they recruited Jamison Williams out of high school extensively. They know this young man pretty well.
All right, Brandon.
Well,
go ahead, Brandon.
Before I let y'all go, y'all let me go. Reese Found, quarterback here at Rome High School, was hosted at Georgia Tech this weekend, and he was talking to me about some of these moves and stuff that was going to go on. That was why it did not catch me by surprise when they made the personnel decisions that they made over the weekend. And I love Jeff Collins, but is he in over his head trying to rebuild that, or is it going to take somebody bigger?
I think it's going to take more time.
More time, just simply because of the kind of offense and the shape the program was in by the time he got there.
You're going from that flat, straight, old-fashioned option offense to a wide-open spread offense. I mean, this is one of those cases where back in the day he would get 4 years, no question, 5 years to get 2-3 recruiting cycles in there. He needs more time. And then Georgia Tech needs to be patient. All right, that was Brandon with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. We had a question that came in via our app this morning, and it said, would you take David Cutcliffe as an offensive coordinator?
Well, somebody asked me that, the other day, and I just, with David Cutcliffe's age, I think he's 67 years old. He's still an outstanding offensive mind, but he has had some health issues.
Right.
I just don't see it being a fit.
He may just want to retire and be done.
He's had a long, outstanding career.
Right.
Twice the offensive coordinator at Tennessee. Coach Peyton Manning, we know at Ole Miss did a solid job with Eli Manning, nearly winning the division there. I think, and I believe they had a 10-win season.
They did. They tied for first in the West.
Yeah, in
that
think,
1 year.
Yeah, I believe in 2003. And then he did a great job. You mentioned the Duke situation, the 10 wins in like 13, which I had forgotten about that part of it. And I knew he had won 9, but he won multiple bowl games there. He's certainly really good with the quarterback. Now, could I see him being an analyst for Nick Saban, where he's not having to recruit and he's not calling plays and the workload isn't as much? Hell yes. And remember, he's from Birmingham. He went to Woodlawn High School. He went to the University of Alabama before he had to retire because of an injury situation, medical situation. But could I see him being a consultant? I mean, Nick Saban consults all kind of guys. So, yeah, but do I see him being the OC at Alabama? I don't. I don't know that Coach Cutcliffe wants to continue working full-time in the sport because of his health situation, because of his age. But I could see him being someone that Nick Saban would trust to go, okay, what are we doing here, especially from a quarterback perspective? What are some things that you would suggest? I could see him being a consultant. I couldn't see him being the offensive coordinator. And again, I think we just had the caller to call in and tell us, they want to see more RPOs from Bill O'Brien. Well, it was almost totally RPO based with Tua in 2018, and eventually that caught up with Alabama. I think you have to be multiple And I think they did do some RPO stuff early, but I think they also were wanting to keep.
Not a strength of this
team,
is an RPO.
No, and I think they were wanting to. They didn't want again. A big part of it has been they don't want Bryce Young getting hit because they don't have anything behind him right now.
Right.
Ty Simpson's not there yet. But I will say this. In order to beat the Dogs on Saturday, I think they may have to use Bryce Young's mobility.
Interesting. All right, let's go to Ron Hill real fast on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Good morning, Ron.
Hey, good morning, guys. Question for you. I'm just wondering, what does Alabama have to do to fix their offensive line in the near future? And if y'all could just give me some insight on that, I'll let y'all go, and y'all have a great day.
All right, thanks, Ron.
I mean, it's a continued development, man. I mean, O-line is not a plug-and-play situation. I mean, Alabama has been very fortunate to recruit at a high level and get a James Carpenter out of JUCO and then high school, Andre Smith, Jonah Williams, Cam Robinson's, even an Evan Neal to a degree,
right,
where you plug and play the guys. But they don't all work out that way. A lot of times, I still think Tommy Brockermeyer can be a really good player. He needed a year. J.C. Latham, he needed a year. Javian Cohen last year, he needed a year. I'll say this. As good as that O-line was last year, Scott, a lot of those guys were on the O-line in 2019, and they weren't being called the greatest O-line in history.
Well, if those guys were so good, I mean, the guys that last year were so good, that means a lot of guys below them are not playing.
Right.
They're not getting a lot of experience. So if the older guys leave, you got young guys in there that need a little bit of season. They need those reps. You're not going to get them unless you're out on the field.
And they're going to continue to recruit, and if they can find the right piece in the transfer portal, then I'm sure they're going to try to add it. But again, I think they're recruiting at a high level. I think that they'll get better with a year's time and with guys getting healthy. But sometimes it's not a video game. You can't plug in a 5-star or create somebody and they're going to play at a high level right away. Sometimes it takes some time.
If it's a problem next year with the same guys, then it's a problem, right?
I would think so if they don't show improvement.
Right.
But, I mean, I think they will. I think they've got young players that are going to get better. And I just think sometimes you have to go through transition years. Pretty damn good transition year, though, when you're 11-1 and 2 caught passes away from 12-0.
All right, let's get a break in. When we come back, we're going to talk to the Oklahoma Sooners. Lincoln Riley introduced yesterday at USC, who's going to be introduced in Norman.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Just got a wreck at Pulaski Pike and Grizzard Road. That one's coming in with injuries. Fire and Rescue canceled Himsey on Wall, Triana, and James Record. One in Decatur, Beltline, and Old Moulton should be about ready to move. Had one westbound on 72 near Epworth. Had injuries reported there. Also had a report of one westbound down near Oakwoods. Be careful, that whole area could be slow. Snelling has openings for production operators, admin workers, and receptionists, medical assistants, and much more. Huntsville.snelling.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jav Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
For all those upcoming get-togethers, get the Black Friday savings you can always count on from Bob Wallace Appliance on the brands you know and trust: Whirlpool, KitchenAid, Maytag, and more. All 3 locations: Huntsville, Florence, Coleman, and at BobWallaceAppliance.com.
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. Right, Madeline?
Bob Wallace Appliance, where we service what we sell.
Take your taste buds back in time with a trip to the all-new Bubby's Diner, offering a variety of mouth-watering food from delicious starters to 50s-style diner food and meat-and-free meals, featuring owner and Huntsville native Chris Bubby Belcher's family's homemade recipes. Open Monday through Saturday for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at 8412 Whitesburg Drive in the former Gibson's Barbecue. Drive-in, drive-through, carry-out, or curbside pickup with delivery coming soon through Grub Cell. Bubby's Diner, home of the Donut Burger.
Carrier Rosenblum here with Rosenblum Realty, and we appreciate our MA family. Football season is back again, and we're here for your real estate needs. We've been also doing rental properties for many years. You may have a home that you need to lease out. You don't need the headaches. You need somebody to take care of it, make sure the repairs are done, keep the rent coming in, and screen the tenants. We can do all that for you at Rosenblum Realty, where we do property management services, or you can find a good home to rent as well. Call us at 256-539-9501. Put our years of experience to work for you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Ho, ho, ho! Bob Baumhauer here, and Baumhauer's Victory Grill is kicking off the holiday season right. From our always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to our homemade Nana's chicken salad, and of course our world-famous buffalo wings. We've got your holiday meals covered with our legendary party-ready trays. And what's a holiday party without gifts? Now through December 24th, get a $5 bonus card with every $25 in gift cards purchased. Plus, our signature sauces make great stocking stuffers too. Merry Christmas!
No other radio station in Alabama has two voters for the Heisman Trophy.
Winner of the Heisman Memorial Trophy is...
Listen to Steve Moulton and Scott Tyson. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now more of Talkin Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on your home for Crimson Tide Sports 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Roll Tide.
All right, welcome back to Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond with you. It's warming up. We're at 43 degrees here in the Tennessee Valley. We've talked a lot of college football this morning. We talked a lot about Alabama. We've talked about Auburn. We've talked a lot about good stuff. So Brian Kelly shook up the coaching world yesterday evening. 24 hours before that, it was Lincoln Riley going from Oklahoma to USC, which shook up the college coaching world. That kind of started this earthquake, so to speak. And that earthquake is now out in California with Lincoln Riley. And the reverberations are being felt all around college football, Drew. Now it's up to the Sooners to fill that vacancy. A lot of names being floated around there in Norman.
Yeah, no question about it. And our next guest, he's been with us. It's been a while, but, I got hooked in with this guy several years ago, and he knows the Sooners inside and out, does a great job as part of the OUinsider.com, part of 24/7 Sports. He's based in the state of Oklahoma, covers their team closely each and every day, and he's been tracking this situation since it broke coming out of the weekend. Lincoln Riley shocking a lot of people, leaving Oklahoma to go to Southern California. And our next guest is with us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, and it's Brandon Drum. Brandon, welcome back to Huntsville with Drew and Scott. How are you, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing good, man. I mean, during these coaching searches, I got a lot of friends in the media, and if the team you cover is going through one of these, it's hard to even get any sleep because you're tracking things. There's a lot of buzz yesterday about Brent Venables, but I want to go back first. How surprising was it to the folks that you speak with I know you're connected to a lot of important OU folks about Lincoln Riley. Ultimately, I think everyone knew he was going to spurn LSU, but how surprising was it that he made the move to the West Coast?
I mean, it shocked everybody. The USC isn't really one of those jobs that when you're at OU that most people think, oh, well, they'll leave for that job. It's just been such a maligned job for the better half of the last, 40 years. It hasn't really done a whole lot. And outside of, obviously, the early 2000s and late 90s.
Pete Carroll, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's shocking. I mean, you get it with the recruiting base, but when you're at Oklahoma, it's a lot like Alabama. I mean, you can walk into any place you want to, and you're going to get whoever you want. As a matter of fact, Lincoln Riley had the number 1 2023 class in the country, and half of the kids were from Southern California, ironically. So it felt like, that this, with that being said, that it was kind of premeditated by a lot of people is what it felt like. Now, obviously, that's probably not the case, but this thing had probably been going on since October, listening, or at least Lincoln Riley's reps listening to what USC had to say. And, it's upset a lot of higher ups in Oklahoma. I mean, if you put Bob Stoops and Joe C. and Joe Harrod, obviously the president, athletic director, and, the legendary coach at Oklahoma, that is still he's the interim head coach at OU right now, and he's just passionate about the University of Oklahoma, a lot like Barry Switzer. They still live in Norman. They do all that type of stuff. And if you took all 4 of those guys and you put them behind a closed door and said, tell us the truth, and put their hand on the Bible, they would probably say, we are not big fans of Lincoln Riley. Like, they feel hated. They feel jaded. And there's disdain towards the man right now. He looked everybody in the eye. They'd worked through some things with the LSU job and decided, hey, he's going to stay at Oklahoma. They're going to work through a lot of stuff that he wants done while Oklahoma's heading into the SEC. And they were going to – there was literally a Board of Regents meeting Friday, and they were going to get the money that was needed, or at least the approval for the money that was needed from donors and all kinds of stuff. They had already been doing it, but they were actually going to get the public approval for it and put it on the state, docket and all that stuff. So it's just – it's crazy. I mean, he obviously did not want to go to the SEC.
Yeah, I was going to say, how much of a factor of going to the SEC weighed in his decision to leave?
I think everything. I think that had everything to do with it. I think the guy did not want to. He's not built for Oklahoma in the long run, I think, and I think that shocked everybody. I think that's the best way you can put it. He is not built for the rigors of a job of an Oklahoma or an Alabama or a Notre Dame or something like that, where you've got to play programs year in and year out. Obviously, Notre Dame's schedule this year wasn't that great, but notoriously they play a pretty tough schedule, and he's not built for that. He's built for the Pac-12, where, guess what? Well, one loss, it's not like the Big 12. If you have one loss, you're automatically still going to make the playoffs if you win your conference, or the SEC with one loss, you're going to make the playoffs. Or Big Ten. It's just not going to happen. Not in the Pac-12, but he's going to learn that. But I think he doesn't want the pressure of, if you lose 2 games and you don't make the playoffs, people are calling for your heads like they were at OU. He doesn't. I don't know that he's built for that.
Well, OUinsider.com. This is Brandon Drum. I guess the final thing before we delve into the direction OU is going to go, what assistants are going to go with him now?
Well, right now he took strength and conditioning coach Benny Wiley, which I think a lot of OU fans are like, excuse me, get the hell out of here with that. Cause they
I've heard that, by the way.
They're not a big fan of that. Obviously, he took Dennis Simmons. Well, Dennis Simmons is a tough one for Oklahoma fans because he's obviously recruited at an elite level at the wide receiver position. Obviously, everybody's seeing the wide receivers. It's much like Alabama as far as wide receivers get drafted. They get drafted every year in the first round, and that's him. He took obviously his football ops guy and Clark Stroud, and everybody's seen his music stuff that he does on Twitter. He's a recruiting guy. He took, I can't remember. He took Alex Grinch, obviously.
Yeah.
The defensive coordinator, and I believe Bill Beatenbow is leaning towards following him, along with Brian Odom, the linebacker coach, Bill Beatenbow, the offensive line coach. But Bill Beatenbow's family's from Oklahoma, so this isn't a done deal. He's hanging around, waiting kind of deal. He's got the offer. He's waiting, though. He wants to, see who the next head coach is at Oklahoma and see if he can't get on staff here because his family, his wife's family, they're all from Oklahoma, and he loves the university. So, ironically, all the guys that stuck around for the most part, outside of Roy Manning and Jamar Cain, are OU guys. You know, Calvin Thibodeau, DeMarco Murray, and Brian Odom hasn't left yet, but everything is leaning towards that happening. He's obviously an OU guy. I think he's been pretty torn about the decision as well.
And then, Brandon, I know there's been a lot of guys going in the transfer portal, the Jaden Hazelwoods, Theo Wees. We've seen Spencer Rattler. Even a report that Rattler could end up at Texas, of all places. Boy, that would be crazy. And I know there's some thoughts on Caleb Williams, what he might do. And that piggybacks off this next thought. How quickly do you expect this OU search to be resolved? And there was a ton of buzz yesterday about Brent Venables potentially coming back. And OU is interesting because they've had a lot of success, Bob Stoops and then Lincoln Riley, hiring head coaches that don't have experience beforehand.
Yeah, that's kind of the staple for Oklahoma. Barry Switzer.
Yeah, that too. Yeah,
he's an assistant. Even Bud Wilkinson, he was an assistant as well under Jim Tatum back in the 40s before. And the funny thing is the last time a coach left for on their own left for another college coaching job was Jim Tatum in 1947. So that hasn't happened to Oklahoma in almost 80 years. So 76 years. So I mean, this is the first time it's happened to Oklahoma in 76 years. So it's one of the more stable programs of all time. So the Sooner fans are obviously shook. The program shook. Like you said, the transfers. Caleb Williams, an interesting thing, real quickly. He's sticking around right now. I mean, it's not shocking if people are like, "Oh, I can't believe he's not following." Really, I mean, they have Caden Slovis, they got Dart, and they have Miller Moss already on campus at USC that are all top 100 players in the country. They're all pretty good quarterbacks. He's not a guaranteed to start if he goes out to USC. No matter how good you are, you just can't say, well, Caleb Williams showed up, I'm starting. You know, him. I mean, I guess you can, but it just wouldn't be wise decision-making. So for USC, as good as that might be for him to follow, but Lincoln Riley, he moved his family to Oklahoma to begin with from the D.C. area. So, I mean, I don't know how – they're not real apt to moving at this point. He wants to stick it out. They want to see how this plays out, who the OC is and who gets hired. As far as the timeline goes, I would say the next 72 hours are going to be pretty interesting around here. You keep hearing the buzz about Brent Venables. You hear buzz about Luke Fickell. I mean, those are names that keep popping up prominently around here. And Luke Fickell was asked point blank and just completely didn't deny it. So we'll see how this plays out. But Joe Stiglione, I think the funny thing about him is he's notorious for pulling out like a big hire that you didn't expect. Bob Stoops was one. Lon Kruger was one. He told OU no so many times, and finally he got his way when he was at UNLV back in 2011. Just recently Porter Moser. Nobody expected Porter Moser to be OU's head coach. And next thing you know, Porter Moser's the guy. So we'll see. I mean, Brent Venables makes sense. He's an OU guy, was there for 12 years at Oklahoma from 99 to 2011 as a DC, and he loves the university. His kids were born there. I mean, it's a big deal for him to be offered that job at Oklahoma, no matter what people think. So, and he wouldn't. You could get him at maybe $5 or $6 million, and then next thing you know, you can go pay like a Joe Brady. I think if you want to keep Caleb Williams, you get Joe Brady, who he was really attached to at LSU at the time before he left for Carolina. And you could go get him for $3 or $4 million as well as an OC, I guess. And there you go. There's your the base of your staff, because Venables can call the defense. So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out. But I think that probably makes the most sense. We'll just see how it plays out from here, though.
Is the SEC move still playing out okay?
Oh yeah, they're not. Oklahoma is actually. They talked about that at the presser yesterday and said, look, they've gone to 4 or 5 schools in the SEC. The SEC schools have been open to them. They've been doing like a campus tour to see what everybody has in the conference, and that's kind of the deal they made Riley. And they told him, look, we're going to throw however much money we need to at facilities, which ironically, Oklahoma has some of the best facilities in the country, but they want to be the best. So they're trying to get that. They're trying to budget that and all that stuff right now. Like they're bound and determined to upgrade everything coming in. They want to be up there, and stay up there with the Alabamas and the Georgias of the world. They don't want to they don't want to be middle tier at anything when they show up to the SEC. So, or at least want to have that in the works, so that they can prove to the recruits and everybody else that, look, they're going to be on that par. So, yeah, they're bound and determined to make that thing work.
That sounds good. And so, Brandon, to close it out, this is Brandon Drum, OUinsider.com, part of 24/7 Sports. You're saying you think that this coaching search will be resolved within the next 48 to 72 hours?
You would think. I mean, they can't afford to do it much longer than that because of the recruiting, the national
right,
signing
and the transfer
day
portal. Yeah,
and the transfer portal. I mean, you've got to get some solid ground going, and at least the thing moving into a different direction. I mean, Bob Stoops pumped up everybody, and it stopped a lot of things yesterday with his speech about Oklahoma and what the university is and all that. But I don't know how long that speech in the rah-rah can last. I mean, maybe a week.
Yeah.
But if you push it out any more than 4 or 5 days, I think you're really pushing things right now.
No doubt. Well, great job. Let everybody know how to connect with you and your work. And again, we're going to be definitely looking forward to Oklahoma joining the SEC in the years to come. But just let everybody know how to follow the coaching search and what you got going on at OUinsider.com.
Yeah, you can actually be on OUinsider.com for $26, get you a whole year right now. We're doing 75% off with the coaching search. I think we had over 500 people sign up here in the last, 48 hours, which is awesome. And then, which brought us, over 7,000-8,000 members. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it's a cool deal right now on OUinsider.com. You can follow me at Brandon247 Sports. You can find us on Facebook at Oklahoma 247 Sports, Oklahoma Football 247 Sports, I believe, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'm sorry, guys. And then,
no worries.
You can follow us on Instagram on OUinsider247. We have a lot of things going there. We've got just a lot of content flowing right now as far as the coaching search goes, and obviously my personal one is Brandon247, Brandon Drum 247.
Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate it. Appreciate it, man.
All right, thank you, guys.
Let's get our final break in. When we come back here, tomorrow's headlines today, and there's no shortage of headlines.
You're listening to Talkin Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
If you need a car, McCurry Motors is ready to put you in a quality vehicle, and in-house financing is available. If you have a job, McCurry Motors will work with you even if you have a bankruptcy, divorce, or bad credit. Visit McCurrySaysYes.com. Every car comes with a warranty, and they report to the credit bureau. With 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens, call 256-230-0232, or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville. Call 256-713-0575.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Happy holidays don't just happen on their own. You make them happen with a little help from new appliances at the Home Depot. Because warm wishes won't roast that turkey. You'll want a new convection oven for that. An air fryer will help make the season light and delicious. And while you're at it, consider a new LG or Samsung fridge that's big enough to hold all kinds of Christmas cheer. Make the holidays yours with the season's best savings on top appliances at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Eating the last slice of pumpkin pie, power move. Buying your own gifts, power move. Switching to super fast internet from WOW with speeds up to 1 gig, power move. Get Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month and your first month free. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with autopay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Orange is the color power of construction, the color of Kubota and Huntsville Tractor and Equipment. Those who need to get things done trust Kubota's mini excavators, compact track loaders, and the best keeps getting better with the all-new mini compact loader from one of the top dealers in the country. More than 50 years of family service, every part in the book, and folks who know what to do with them. You'll be seeing orange with Huntsville Tractor and Equipment.
Come on, let's go to work.
Last reported wreck was 72 in Jordan Road. That one had injuries. Pulaski, Pike, and Grizzard reported with injuries. Wall, Triana, and James Record reported as an injury type, but Fire and Rescue canceled Himsey on that one and had one 72 westbound coming across Chapman Mountain. Had a slow go for you there. That one should be clearing. Got a reunion coming up. You could lose 4 sizes in 4 weeks with 2030 Fast Track. 2030huntsville.com for info. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeyes Skywatch Traffic Center.
This segment of Talkin Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hi, welcome back to Talking Ball. It is your tomorrow's headlines today, and there is no shortage of headlines. Stuff we have not even had a chance to talk about so far in the show this morning. Coming up at 2 p.m. today, Jacksonville State will introduce their new head football coach. Rich Rodriguez is finally coaching in the state of Alabama.
He is.
He tried 14 years ago, came close. The epic locker room speech that kept him at West Virginia, ultimately before going to Michigan. But Rich Rodriguez today will be introduced at 2 o'clock as the new Jacksonville State head football coach.
Very interesting move by Jacksonville State. Someone that's got a ton of experience, Scott, on the Power 5 level and the Division I level. and that's the transition that Jacksonville State and Greg Seitz is the athletic director. They're trying to make there. They're going from D1 in every sport but football, which has been FCS, but now they're going to FBS, making that transition to Conference USA, upgrading their facilities. And Rich Rodriguez has a lot of experience on that level and is comfortable coaching on that stage, and so they're going to count on his experience here to make Jacksonville State competitive quickly in Conference USA. Going to be a fascinating journey to follow. Rich Rod certainly is a lightning rod. No pun intended there. I mean, he didn't have a lot of success at Michigan. He actually did do a pretty decent job at Arizona before being dismissed. And then resurfacing at Ole Miss for a year as OC.
He was 43-35 in 6 seasons at Arizona.
And that is not horrific, okay, because Arizona is not an easy job. And I think he was even in one Pac-12 championship game. So Rich Rod did a solid job in his career, did a great job for Terry Bowden at Tulane and Clemson. And then I think he never should have left West Virginia. I think he fit there. It was his alma mater. He did a great job coaching there. The Pat White situation, a Heisman candidate, Noel Devine. They had some really good offenses. He's a good offensive mind, so could be a good fit for Jacksonville State. Yeah, he did.
He elevated it.
And that's what Jacksonville State wants him to do now.
Yeah, he wants
just on a smaller stage.
Yeah. By the way, he's replacing John Gross, who was 72-26.
Not bad.
As head coach at Jacksonville State.
There you go.
So there you go. There's that. We need to wish a happy 59th birthday today. 59. Bo Jackson, 59
Amazing.
today.
Probably could still run a 4.6. Wouldn't doubt it.
And still the best player in Tecmo Super Bowl.
Oh.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
The best player in Tecmo Super Bowl.
Just bounced right off him. I'm telling you.
You just run Bo up the middle.
Yeah.
See, there you go. We were all good offensive coordinators when we were playing Tecmo Super Bowl with Bo Jackson.
Well, the problem is a lot of fans think that that's what an offensive coordinator does, is plug you in like a video game, and you're supposed to just have a seamless transition, no bumps in the road, and if one play doesn't work, you're fired.
Oh.
Trust me, I used to turn the video game off if a play blew up, so I understand some of the. But it's when you get older and you understand.
Go right. You wouldn't keep playing.
No,
you would just
I'd get pissed off. I broke remote controls.
You get mad.
But see, the thing is, you get older and you mature and then you understand, and sometimes people don't. And now Scott's stealing my shtick here. This is interesting.
You were like matured. I had to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, if you want to make a drive to Baton Rouge, if you want to make a drive, there, Brian Kelly's plane will land at 2:30 today in Baton Rouge.
I think the press conference is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I want to say
he
officially.
met with. So there was a lot of angst yesterday among a lot of Notre Dame personnel because of how this news got out, how everything got out surrounding Brian Kelly. And he met with his players this morning, 11 minutes. Was all he met with his players. And from what I've heard is several players didn't even show.
Oh, wow.
Didn't even make it there this morning to wake up to hear Brian Kelly tell them that he was leaving. He sent a message out to his players yesterday saying he apologized for how everything was handled and everything, but he was ultimately going to LSU. So that is some of the big highlights, the big headlines that we have from today. What a 2 hours it was. What a 2 hours it has been. I don't think tomorrow will be anything like today unless somebody else decides to step away or step down.
You've got two big jobs open right now, Scott. As on our show this morning, Brent Pry is now the head coach of Virginia Tech. So we know that job is filled, right?
The Washington job apparently is they zeroed in on Fresno State's head coach.
Yes, that was decided yesterday. So that job is filled. So the only thing that you've got, You've got an OC search at Auburn right now, and then you've got Oklahoma, and you've got is an open job. It's a major job, no question about that, and Notre Dame. So those are the two jobs right now.
Is where does Notre Dame go?
Yeah.
Do they take another Power 5 head coach away from another school, which would cause another domino effect?
Or as the somebody put it, Urban Meyer, it's sitting right there. Does he want to pull a Lou Holtz, resign, and go back to college? Just watch them clubs, man. That's all I'll say.
If Urban Meyer takes that job, he's there for 3 years and he's gone.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen.
He would coach himself out again.
I think Luke Fickell's in the mix for both these jobs, and so
all right, if you're Luke Fickell,
I would be nervous if I was Cincinnati.
Notre Dame or Cincinnati? Notre Dame or Oklahoma if you're Luke Fickell?
I'm going Notre Dame.
All right.
Brent Venables to OU is still my pick.
All right, there you go. That was 2 hours. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning. Talking Ball beginning at 7 a.m. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. So long.
So close to home, just 5 miles from downtown Huntsville, Montesano State Park sits on over 2,000 acres with spectacular vistas from atop Montesano Mountain. And right now would be a great time to purchase our zone deal so you can plan your getaway and save money. Get a 2-night stay in a cabin at Montesano State Park for the price of just 1 night, only $140. Get your zone deal before they're gone at 977ESPN.com.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, Managing Partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Madison Academy football. Stop into the University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com to view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see you in a Kia. Go Mustangs!
Minimums on checking and savings accounts. Is banking with Capital One even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. No fees or minimums on new consumer accounts. Capital One